Former Sports Personality of the Year winners, including Sir Steve Redgrave, play A Question of Sport at 5:45 on BBC One. And talking of winners...
He was one of the heroes of the afternoon.
Applause from the away supporters. The latest score is Wimbledon through to the Premier.
John Terry's tears, we all remember. He was through for a week.
Hello, welcome to Final Score. We've 5 matches currently taking place in the Premier League this afternoon, plus loads of action in the Football League and SPL. And 2 pundits who are so nice they will be on every footballer's Christmas card list are alongside me, Garth and Matt. That was one of the nicer intros.
It was, actually.
Right, let's bring you right up to date with what's been happening today. We're going to start at Anfield. And the Reds started well, but Christian Benteke cracked in a near-post opener against the run of play before cutting open the host defence to help Villa strike partner Andreas Weimann lash home a second. In the early game at Old Trafford, it's Stoke 0, Everton 1. Ryan Shawcross headed into his own goal from a Stephen Pienaar cross. It's Norwich 1, Wigan 0. The home side, one of the most informed teams in Europe at the moment. Anthony Pilkington made the most of some calamitous Wigan defending to fire the ball past Ali Al-Habsi. Wigan struggling for any solidity at the back in that first 45 minutes. And it's goalless. We have to start, don't we, in talking about the game, Matt Holland at Anfield, where Liverpool created chance after chance in the first 20 minutes or so, but Aston Villa have punished them twice.
Yeah, they have. I mean, Liverpool did start the game brilliantly and had 2 or 3 chances. Should have been ahead in the game. But 2 goals from Aston Villa of the highest quality. Benteke's the first from about 25 yards. He strikes it. I mean, Garth's critical. He thinks that Pepe Reina should have done better. I think it's harsh to blame the goalkeeper. But the second goal is as good a goal that you'll see in terms of a team goal. They pass it from back to front. The combination play was superb. And Benteke's assist with a back heel into Weimann was just sublime.
Really interesting. They've come out second half. Liverpool have started brightly. They want to get back in this game. Ball gets into the box. Agger finds himself at the back post, heads it back across. It's not Agger, I beg your pardon. Agger gets pulled, I beg your pardon, in the box by Kieran Clark. The referee, Brendan Rodgers, funnily enough. No, that's the coach. Beg your pardon. The referee refuses to give a penalty. Would have been a great start for them. I think they have a claim, actually. I think it's a penalty. You clearly see Kieran Clark pull Agger's shirt.
I'm fairly sure the Premier League would have investigated it if he was refereeing and managing.
Do that, yes.
QPR are probably the other story in that first half, in the sense that they've had chance after chance after chance. At one stage, I think they'd had 11 chances and Fulham hadn't had 1. Yeah. And yet they haven't been able to convert any of them.
No, that's right. I mean, form's been improving under Harry Redknapp. 3 games unbeaten, 3 draws. And they started the game very quickly. Tarat's been at the fore. The best chance came to Jamie Mackie. John Arne Rees is a very lucky boy. He plays a blind back pass to his goalkeeper. Mackie reads it, goes through on goal, but Side puts it just wide. They should be ahead, QPR.
Mentioned Sunderland's poor record at Old Trafford. Garth, have Manchester United been comfortable?
Yes, they have. Very much so. I thought Van Persie's goal was just typical of him. The ball forced him in the box. He's cool, he's composed, and he passes into the back of the net. Tom Cleverley scores a goal. You've got to see it. For me, it epitomises how Cleverley's come on. Not only does he actually make the skill, he's comfortable, he's confident. And I think that's indicative of how he's coming on as a United player.
He really just hit the bar as well.
Yeah. So you wouldn't expect Sunderland to come back in that, would you? Really?
They've just had a chance that David De Gea has made a really good save down to his right-hand side. He's made a couple of really good saves today, David De Gea. Just watching, and Van Persie just pulled one.
But United are creating chance after
chance.
I mean, in the first half, it's been a very good first half of football at Anfield and at Old Trafford. But at Old Trafford, the first half for me was almost like shooting in.
And as far as speaking of shooting in, we talked before the start of the show about Stoke's impressive home defence. Only 2 conceded at the Britannia Stadium this season in the league. So it's actually taken an own goal for Everton to take the lead.
Yeah, it came from Pienaar's cross on the left-hand side. Normally Stoke, I think, are really good at stopping crosses. They didn't quite get tight enough. The ball came in and Shawcross is backpedalling and can't quite get the height on his jump and flicks it past his own goalkeeper, Begovic.
Let's go to Anfield then straight away. Liverpool 2 down at half-time at home to Aston Villa. We've heard from Garth, Richard Askham, that the home side have begun the second half brightly.
Yes, they have, Mark. They've had a couple of chances besides the penalty shout that Garth was describing. Luis Suarez, a shot saved by Brad Goose, and Stuart Downing the same. But it's a bit of a head-scratcher, this one, you know, for Brendan Rodgers, because his team, as the chaps in the studio were saying, could have been 3 up, really, before Villa took the lead through Christian Benteke and then doubled it with that excellent flowing move, finished off by Andreas Weimann, a really cute back heel in that from Benteke as well. Villa, though, really have defended well today. It's not going to be easy for Liverpool to break them down this afternoon. To try and do that, Brendan Rodgers has brought on Joe Cole for John Joe Shelby. Shelby played OK, I thought, although without any real cutting edge in the box, and he had a couple of chances as well in that first half. Villa on the attack again, Mark. I'm just going to stay with this. Benteke attacking down the middle. Great chance. And he scores past Pepe Reina to make it 3-0 to Aston Villa. Great strength from the Belgian. His 8th of the season. And Aston Villa lead by 3-0 at Anfield. And Brendan Rodgers will be wondering just exactly what has happened.
Well, he will be wondering just exactly what has happened.
Yeah, he will, because they probably had more possession, probably the clearer chances, and yet they find themselves 3 goals behind. I mean, Benteke, I think, has been absolutely superb. His all-round play is fantastic, and his strength to hold off the 2 challenges there. I mean, Liverpool won't be pleased with the way they defended it. Joe Cole loses it in the centre circle. Benteke goes on the rampage, and it's Joe Allen, I think, who he holds off on the right-hand side, just lifts it over the goalkeeper. It's brilliant. He's been fantastic this season, Benteke. His all-round play has been really good.
I agree with everything that Matt has said, but there are 1 or 2 telltale signs for me. They start well, Villa, first and foremost, but there's a wonderful tackle by Nathan Baker on right on the edge of the box. It's fantastic on Shelby, and it sets up their performance.
Right, whilst Garth was talking, we've been saying that QPR had to take their chances. They've created so many at Loftus Road this afternoon. And now, Jonathan Ledyard.
They have taken one. Adel Taarabt. It's re-shown now, replayed on the big giant screen, and it took a deflection. Schwarzer had it covered, but when you're down, your luck normally against you. This time, it went all the way for QPR. And at last they have their breakthrough. Chance number 12, and it's in. 1-0 QPR.
Wow, we'll get the thoughts of the guys on that in just a moment. And there's a big story developing in the Championship. Cardiff have won their last 10 at home in the league, but they are 2 down to bottom of the table, Peterborough. Ian Hunt.
Well, Mark, you know, some might have scoffed when Peterborough manager Darren Ferguson said before the game, why shouldn't it be us who end Cardiff's record 10-game unbeaten run? And they are now well on course to doing that, because Dwight Gale has just put Peterborough 2-0 up within 2 minutes of the restart. And you have to say that Peterborough deserve to be in front. They were 1-0 up from Michael Bostwick's free kick in the first half. Cardiff not making the most of the possession and the corners that they've had in this game. But what a story developing here in Cardiff. They're now trailing by 2-0.
Tim Howard is making his 200th consecutive Premier League appearance this afternoon. Only Brad Friedel has made more consecutively, but he won't want to remember it, will he, Jackie Oatley?
He won't, because he has just conceded a goal, the leveller, scored by Kenwyne Jones, who's broken a little record of his own here. It's his first Premier League goal in 28 games. Going back to August 2011, it was a very good header. He rose high above Phil Jagielka and planted the ball inside Howard's right-hand post. It was a good ball forwards by Huth, as it was, and it's a second chance of the second half as Charlie Adam had gone close, miscuing a volley, but Howard still had to make the save. Howard then denying him on the follow-up. Everton had the better of the first half, an own goal from Shawcross after Pienaar's ball in, but Stoke are level 1-1.
Sean Maloney's performance at Norwich for Wigan last season kick-started their survival run. This afternoon, on the same ground, what's he gone and done, Andrew James?
he's kick-started their survival run mark. It would perhaps seem to be the case because he's come on as a second-half substitute at Maloney, and he's absolutely thumped in a marvellous equalising goal for Wigan Athletic. Credit to the manager Martinez for making those half-time substitutions. Wigan were poor and ineffective in the first half, in which Anthony Pilkington put Norwich into the lead, and Pilkington as well as Snodgrass had good chances to really give Norwich something like a 3-0 lead at half-time that they would have deserved. But having made those half-time changes, Wigan have reaped an instant benefit, and Maloney, the sub, has got the equalising goal. It finished 1-1 on both occasions last season. Now it's Norwich 1, Wigan 1.
Let's start with the QPR goal. They created all these clear-cut chances, and it's a deflection that gives them the lead.
If you can't be good, be lucky. I mean, in fairness to Taarabt, he's had about 5 or 6 efforts at goal from outside the box, and he's taken his chances, and he's got the lucky deflection that sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. They deserved it. I mean, the balance of play, QPR have been the better side, and they deserve to be ahead in the game.
That'll be the little bit of luck that Harry Redknapp would have wanted, because you don't want to actually give your team a hard side because they're making chances. And if you keep making chances, you expect them to score, but they get a bit of luck, they're off the mark, they've got to close the game out. Win ugly if you need to, but they need these 3 points. 1 point's no good for them.
Tim Howard, second on the consecutive Premier League appearances list. Who's 10th on that list?
I think it was me.
It was you on that list. See, I'll help you.
Thanks.
Pleasure. I can't quite work out how he was trying to keep that ball out.
I don't. I think he's scared of the post, in fairness. It's a long ball from Shawcross from the centre circle, and he jumps brilliantly, Jones. Good header towards the goal. It's just inside the post, and he's going with his feet, then his hands, and he's not really sure what to do, and it goes in between the two, doesn't it?
You're right. It's a lazy ball from Shawcross, who's roughly just inside over in the opposition's half, and it really isn't with any purpose. He just lofts it there. Kenwyne Jones does brilliantly, but Tim Howard gets himself in all sorts of trouble.
2 for the afternoon for Owen Doyle, 7 for the season. Hibs now 2-0 up on Motherwell as they try to chase down Celtic at the top of the SPL. And let's go to Old Trafford next. Damian Johnson, Manchester United against Sunderland. All very comfortable for the home side.
Yeah, it is. Goals from Robin Van Persie and Tom Cleverley. A fair reflection, really, of United's dominance. Van Persie with a clinical finish. Cleverley a curling shot after exchanging passes with Michael Carrick. Wayne Rooney's caught the eye, could have had a hat-trick, a couple of decent chances in the first half. He's hit the bar in this second half. And a further setback for Sunderland. Their top scorer, Stephen Fletcher, took a knock in the first half, hasn't come out for the second period. Connor Wickham is on his place. It's an uphill battle you sense for Sunderland. United lead 2-0.
So United lead 2-0. Stoke could have led 2-1, couldn't they, there, Garth?
Kenwyne Jones was very unlucky. He's, I think that goal, he hasn't scored for, goodness knows, 20-odd games? Yeah. That's given him a huge lift in confidence, and he gets through, comes in just on the left-hand side of the goal, and really, perhaps, should have scored.
Kind of bobbled around, didn't he? Hit his knee and then hit the post from a couple of yards.
Yeah, no, I mean, Stoke actually come out second half. It's been quite an even game, that one, Everton-Stoke. At the start of play, I'd have said that was a banker draw, and it's looking like that at the moment.
I just must say quickly, on the Wigan-Norwich game, Coney does very, very good for their goal on the left-hand side. Cuts inside Whittaker, who's been very good for Norwich, actually, by the way, but cuts inside him. And I think Bradley Johnson, and lays it off beautifully for Maloney to come in and smash. Brilliant. It's a great goal.
Stirling are bottom of the whole of the Scottish Football League, but they lead Berwick by 4 goals to 3. And as you can see in League One in England, Stevenage have taken the lead against Crawley. Robin Shroot with that goal 10 minutes into the second half. It's his 7th of the season, his 6th in the league, and Stevenage are a goal up on Crawley. Back to the Premier League. The early game was at St James's Park. Finished Newcastle 1.
They were worth it today. Newcastle United 1, Manchester City 3.
Roberto, Newcastle may not be having that great a season, but this is still a hard ground to come to, and your team played very well today.
Yeah. No, I think that to win here is very, very difficult because, first of all, they are a good team. They have a good manager, and it's really difficult. But I think that today we did a very good performance, like against United, change only the result because we won this game, but we deserve to score 5-6 goals because we can missing a lot of this goal because after maybe if they score like today it could be difficult.
How important was the save from Joe Hart after only about 90 seconds from Papi Cisse?
Yeah, it was important because he did a good save. I think
Right, Roberto Mancini, their match of the day is tonight, 10:25 on BBC One and BBC One HD. Dan Walker, not content with one show on a Saturday, is presenting it alongside Alan Shearer and Mark Lawrence. There's no meow there, honestly. It's Christmas, you know, he needs the extra money. Right, let's go to Old Trafford, shall we, where Damian Johnson's watched a third goal for Manchester United.
Yes, it's gone to Wayne Rooney. We mentioned he might have had a hat-trick with some earlier chances which went begging, but he's finally got his goal. It was a counter-attack from United. Van Persie skipped past a couple of defenders, weak tackling, it has to be said, from the Sunderland back four, crossed the ball, laid it on a plate for Rooney, couldn't miss. 3-0.
Now, when I watched that, I'm going, that looked like good skill from Robin Van Persie. You, on the other hand, are going, no, not great defending from Titus Bramble.
No, I think it's great skill from Van Persie, but I just think that Cuellar and Bramble make it too easy for him. You know, they don't really try and stop the ball. I think it's because it's in the area, they're conscious of bringing Van Persie down, but he just plays it in between the two of them. It's far too easy and puts it on the plate for Wayne Rooney.
It is. It's 2v1 a situation. You'd expect the defenders there to actually see that situation off. But Van Persie shows great feet and gets... We've seen some fabulous team goals today. I mean, it's difficult to pick out the favourite for me. That goal by Van Persie cleverly scores a lovely goal. The early game today, for me, the first goal, you need to match the day Aguero. For me, I think that's the sort of play you expect from champions. It really is exquisite play and finished beautifully.
I think Manchester City played some of their most fluent football of the season.
They did. I think after last week's setback in the derby, they had the bit between the teeth today. And first half in particular, I thought they played some outstanding football.
Matt McClure has scored for Wickham this afternoon, but he's now been sent off. They're 2-0 up at Accrington, but they're going to have to play out the remaining half hour or so with just 10 men. St Johnstone 2, Hearts 2. Stephen McLean with that goal. They've got half an hour left to go there as well, but it's all square. Yes, Garth?
Can I just say there's been an incident at Stoke that I think is going to cause a lot of statements, I think.
It's as if you knew where I was going next, Garth, because with details of what Garth got very angry about, Jackie Oatley.
Yes, Marouane Fellaini has clearly headbutted Ryan Shawcross in the face. We've seen a replay a couple of times, and Shawcross was holding Fellaini. There's no doubt about that from a corner. Fellaini didn't like it. He looked him in the face, and he just nutted him, although he did have a nice cushion of that big, fluffy bow on it, so it might not have hurt just as much as it had otherwise. But surely if the referee, Mark Halsey, had seen it, then Fellaini would have been off. As it was, Jelavic then had a shot which was saved by Begovic, and from the referee's point of view, we'd probably be quite grateful that it was. It's still 1-1.
2 for the afternoon for David McGoldrick, 17 for the season. Coventry are flying at second in League One. Doncaster, aren't they? Doncaster 0, Coventry 3. To St Andrews next. Crystal Palace were a goal up on Birmingham last time with Ivan Gaskell, but there's been a second goal. Ivan.
Yes, they've doubled their lead, and if my eyes don't deceive me, Glenn Murray has nipped in for an almost identical goal from the first one. He's doubled his tally. I think that makes him 20 in this prolific championship season for a man that's been around the block in terms of football, but he's starting to make his way now, and Palace may well be making their way to the top tonight. They're 2-0 up here, and I can't see Birmingham coming back from this.
Ivan is absolutely spot on. 20 for him this season for Glenn Murray. And as you can see, Cheltenham have taken the lead in League Two through Darren Carter. Cheltenham 1, Port Vale 0. Rochdale have got one back through Ashley Grimes. That's his second of the afternoon. 7 for the season for him. Aldershot 3, Rochdale 2. The Fellaini headbutt.
Well, I think it's a very interesting take by Jackie Oatley, but the fuzzy hair of Fellaini might have made it a softer headbutt. Ryan Shawcross dropped like a stone. You know, he went down, you know, it was a serious headbutt. And, you know, in this day and age, when you've got cameras from every angle, I think this is something for the FA. They're going to have to look at it. On match of the day tonight, it'll look outrageous.
If an incident like that is seen and a yellow card's been given, there's not a lot you can do. I don't think there's anything you can do about it. But there's nothing been seen. The referee hasn't seen it.
Retrospective action can be taken.
I think it can be taken. I think it should be taken. I think he should be given a retrospective red card for that incident. All
credit to Ryan Shawcross. He doesn't complain. He's left it. He hasn't reacted badly. He's left it to the officials. And I think it's only right that they should now deal with it.
It's a typical incident at a corner where they're marking each other. But Fellaini gets angry because Shawcross is tight to him and he goes...
And perhaps he's tugging, but he shouldn't headbutt him.
Scunthorpe are trying to avoid a fourth straight league defeat. And they've taken the lead at Brisbane Road. Leyton Orient 0, Scunthorpe 1. Confirmation of Glenn Murray's goal there. And Inverness Caledonian Thistle, who were 3-0 down at Tannadice after 8 minutes, are now back on level terms. Dundee United 3, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 3. Billy Mackay's hit a hat-trick this afternoon, 16 for the season. Jamie Murphy has pulled one back for Motherwell at Hibs. Hibs 2, Motherwell 1. How are the leaders doing at home to St Mirren? Ian Turner.
Well, they're struggling to get that second goal. We've played exactly an hour now. Still Celtic 1, St Mirren 0. And Celtic have got all the play. They've had a couple of chances. Captain Scott Brown, a close-range header. He was literally a foot out, but somehow St Mirren managed to block it in the line. And then a couple of minutes later, it was Scott Brown again. He just hesitated a little too long before he's got his shot in. It was blocked again. St Mirren playing far too deep. They're surely going to concede a second, but they've managed to hang on at the moment, and it's only Celtic 1, St Mirren 0.
Northampton have lost their last 3. They're behind again this afternoon at Playmore. Ryan Jarvis with that goal, just under half an hour to play there. Torquay 1, Northampton 0. Let's find out about that Cheltenham goal against Port Vale from Steve May.
Yes, it's Cheltenham 1, Port Vale 0. It's been coming really from the start of the second half. It's Darren Carter with his 5th goal of the season, scored from close range. It came after a number of serious misses at the Port Vale end, including a header off the line and a super save from Chris Neal in the goal. But at the moment, justice is being done. It's Cheltenham 1, Port Vale 0.
Shock of the day in any division is coming in the Championship at Cardiff. Ian Hunt.
It certainly is, Mark, and just as you come to us, the ball in the back of the net once again, but this time the offside flag is up, much to the relief of the Cardiff manager, Malky Mackay. With every minute that passes by, the more agitated he looks, the more quietly confident the Peterborough manager, Darren Ferguson, begins to appear, because his side here on course perhaps to get their first victory in 9 games, and it would be well deserved. It's Peterborough who are putting 10 men behind the ball and just preventing Cardiff really from making any inroads into that final third. The second Peterborough goal coming 2 minutes into the second half, when Cardiff were cut open on the counter-attack. Tomlin's cross from the right, and then Gale with his 4th goal in 3 starts to make it Cardiff 0, Peterborough 2.
Crawley haven't won in 7, but Hope Akpan's 6th of the season, his 4th in the league, means that they're back on level terms at Stevenage. Stevenage 1, Crawley Town 1, and an own goal has increased Bradford's lead at Roots Hall. Southend 0, Bradford 2, and there's been a 3rd goal of the afternoon at Carrow Road. Who's taken the lead? Andrew James.
It's Norwich City. They've got the lead, Mark, and it's come from Wes Hoolahan back in the side today after injury. He's been a key player for them in their resurgence this season, and really it was a great effort from him, but the credit really should go to Grant Holt, who often doesn't get as much credit as perhaps he deserves in terms of being a goal scorer, but in terms of making situations he really is in the top drawer, and he found himself wide out on the left hand side as Norwich were attacking right down by the byline, looked up, pulled the cross back across goal, and Hoolahan nipped in to power the header past Al Habsi. So any Wigan revival, remember, it sparked off their run last season. It's been really sort of put on hold just at the moment. Norwich 2, Wigan 1.
Greg Abbott celebrated his 49th birthday yesterday, but he's seen his Carlisle side fall behind to Shrewsbury again this afternoon. Paul Parry's 5th of the season means the home side are now 2-1 up. Let's return to Old Trafford, where Damian Johnson, an important substitution, has just taken place.
Yeah, no change in the scoreline, but a standing ovation for the returning Nemanja Vidic. He's been out for 3 months with a knee injury, and I dare say it might just be the difference between United winning the title and not winning the title. He's so important to them in the heart of that defence. He's replaced Rio Ferdinand. United still comfortable. They lead 3-0. Vidic is back.
QPR are playing their 17th game of the season this afternoon, and finally it looks like they might be getting all 3 points. Jonathan Ledyard.
It's that familiar combination, Tarat and Hangeland. This time, Hangeland was caught out, stuck a leg out, couldn't stop Tarat, who from the halfway line just ran and ran and ran, edged the area, almost seemed to poke the ball, but it had enough speed to find, and accuracy too, to find the bottom right-hand corner of Schwarzer's net. 2-0 Queen's Park Rangers. It's looking good.
It's looking even better for them because they'd be off the bottom this evening. Reading don't play until Monday night against Arsenal. So as things stand, QPR will be off the bottom. Louis Dodds, 5th of the season, means that Port Vale are back on level terms very quickly at Whaddon Road against Cheltenham. Cheltenham 1, Port Vale 1, and Ivan Gaskell's seen another goal at St Andrews. A Crystal Palace 3 clear.
No, they're not, and I've just dug deep into my many years following football, used all my resources and experience and knowledge by predicting that Birmingham couldn't possibly get back in this game, and they've just scored. 2-1 it is now. It was a fine and inspired substitution too. Zigic has come on, and within a minute he's headed Birmingham back into the game. 2-1 Palace now.
And it is that expertise and knowledge, which means we use Ivan every single week. QPR will be happy. QPR will get the 3 points here.
Well, they should do. And Harry Redknapp will be fighting tooth and nail to keep Adel Taarabt from going to the African Cup of Nations in January, because he's been the key today, the catalyst. And the second goal, I mean, it's all about Adel Taarabt. I mean, sometimes, he perhaps takes the wrong option. Sometimes he's greedy. But on this occasion, he takes it from the halfway line. It's an individual goal. He goes past 3 or 4 challenges. He gets a little bit lucky on the first one, where he gets a little ricochet, but the finish is a little toe poke on the outside of his boot. Brilliant.
Well, Harry Redknapp's criticised him already since being at the club. Criticised him, I think, for not closing down one of the games recently when there was a goal from the edge of the box and it was Taarabt's man who scored it and he didn't close him down. But maybe he knows how to get the best out.
One thing worse than criticising the player, and that's not playing him, he's playing him. So he's saying, go and prove me wrong. Go and prove me that you can do what you can really play at the highest level. The goal you've got to see, it is Adel Taarabt at his cheekiest. He takes the ball into the real danger areas, into the edge of the box, and just almost flicks it with the outside of his right boot, and it just creeps past the goalkeeper. It's an exquisite goal.
And as far as Alex Ferguson is concerned, this is now on a perfect afternoon, isn't it? He's got his side 3-0 up, so he can bring on Nemanja Vidic for the last 20 minutes to ease him back in. Yeah,
I mean, it's great to have Nemanja Vidic back. What he will be saying now is, let's get a clean sheet. It's something that they've been fighting for this season, not had too many of them. David De Gea has just made a really good save down to his left from Sessegnon. Now that Vidic has come on, that's great news for him, but he'll be saying, let's keep it at a clean sheet.
Just a quick point about the Aston Villa. I mean, they're defending as if their bonus depends on a clean sheet. It's just incredible.
And
I don't think I've seen defending.
And as I say that,
like
they've conceded.
Yes, well, we know why we employ Ivan Gaskell. Now Matt Holland's used his expertise to say United will keep a clean sheet. Damien Johnson?
Oh, no, they haven't. Fraser Campbell, the substitute, has just popped up and headed a goal for Sunderland that brings them back into the game, it has to be said. It was a ball retrieved by Sessegnon. He curled it back into the area, and Campbell, who's only been on for about 5 minutes, came on the same time as Vidic, was there to nod in against his former club. It's Manchester United 3, Sunderland 1.
It's all semantics, Matt. Go on.
I said he'd be hoping for a clean sheet. That's what he'll be saying to his team now. I didn't say they would keep a clean sheet. Right,
I'm glad we got that cleared up. Miles West's 6th of the season means the leaders in League 2 are back on level terms now. Gillingham 2, Fleetwood Town 2. Scunthorpe have increased their lead at Leyton Orient through Carl Hawley. Leyton Orient 0, Scunthorpe 2. And Crawley Town have turned it round at Stevenage. They were a goal down. They're now 2-1 up thanks to Danny Bullman with 21 minutes to go. And Harry Gratian has seen another goal in the Championship at Leeds Ipswich. Harry.
Leeds 2-0 now. Paul Green scored, and it has to be said it was a terrible mistake by Bradley Orr, which set up the chance. So I'm going to do an Ivan Gaskell here, Mark. There's no way that Ipswich can get back now, can they? 2-0 down.
Is that what we're going to call it an Ivan Gaskell from now on, are we? Brilliant. Right, to the Den. Nigel Adley, you've got a goal.
Yes, and Millwall have scored it. They've taken the lead midway through the second half. Liam Trotter playing a 1-2 with Chris Wood on the edge of the penalty area, and his low cutback passed into an empty net by Chris Taylor. Millwall lead by a goal to 0.
One of the goalless games in the Championship is at the Riverside. Anything to tell us, Steve Sutton?
Well, I'll do an Ivan Gaskell, Mark, and say that there's no way in a million years that either side's going to score a goal. So bring it on. Let's have a 5-5 draw. But at the moment, it's 0-0.
Well, that really was very quick. Right, Naz Premji at Turf Moor. You have had goals there between Burnley and Watford.
Yes, certainly have. Burnley 1, Watford 1, chances at both ends. Troy Deeney's been denied, but superbly by Lee Grant from close range on a couple of occasions. And at the other end, Manuel Almunia had to be on hand to stop a Charlie Austin diving header going forward. If we're going to do an Ivan Gaskell, I predict a winner here. It's still Burnley 1, Watford 1.
Confirmation of all the goals that you just heard about. Chris Taylor's for Millwall, Paul Green's for Leeds, Fraser Campbell's for Sunderland, linked with a move away from the club today. Steve Bruce interested in taking him back to Hull. Back to the Championship, Hamish Marshall, Bristol City against Derby. Not a good afternoon so far for the home side.
It's not. They're trailing by 2-0. I think their fans would love me to say there's no chance of a comeback, but it is looking pretty hard to see. The Rams are still in front thanks to 2 quick first-half goals from Jeff Hendrick and Craig Bryson. They've looked pretty comfortable since, although their time-wasting tactics aren't going down well with the locals. The home side are on course to make it 9 games without a win in front of their own fans. 20 minutes to go. City 0, Derby 2.
It's not been the greatest start for Henning-Berger's Blackburn manager, and he's having another miserable afternoon at Blackpool today. Seth Bennett.
And still trailing here by 1-0, Henning-Berger's Blackburn Rovers side. They are lacking a bit of passion that maybe they could do with some of the passion of the gentleman behind me, who's increasingly frustrated with this performance. It's not been good. Only one chance to tell you about in the second half. That fell the way of Blackpool. Tom Ince was stonewalled when he was through on goal. It was a decent save by Jake Keane, but that's all she wrote really so far. Not a great game. Blackpool 1, Blackburn 0.
OK, to the Reebok Stadium next. Any sign of a goal there, Steve Wyeth?
No, it's Bolton 0, Charlton 0. The first half was poor. The second has been absolutely abject. What little endeavour there has been has come from Charlton, who a moment ago really should have scored as Laurie Wilson headed over the crossbar. We've also seen Danny Haynes burst into the penalty area. The ball ricocheted back to him. He also couldn't find the target with the header. Other distractions are available at this time of year, Mark. 15,991 are regretting their decision this afternoon. Bolton 0, Charlton 0.
Brighton against Nottingham Forest is another goalless game. Mark Webber.
0-0. The branded blue and white plastic ponchos are out. I'm surrounded by drips. One of them, sub Greg Halford for Nottingham Forest, came on half-time. He made 3 fouls in 5 minutes. He got a yellow card for one of them. Very lucky not to get a yellow card for one of the other ones as well. Only thing incessant in this game is the rain. 0-0.
Ross County are 7 without a win in all competitions, but they're playing the bottom side in the SPL this afternoon, and they're back on level terms through Gary Glenn, and there's 16 minutes to go in that game. Ross County 1, Dundee 1. Into League One in England, James Mason has been telling us all afternoon this is the big game across England. Sheffield United against Tranmere. Is it living up to your billing, James?
Very much so. It's still 0-0, Mark, like a few of the other reports before me in the second half. A mirror image of the first as Sheffield United strike on goal. Both sides full of endeavour, but yes, it's the defence is so far on top here. Sheffield United have looked the hungrier at times. Their tall striker Chris Porter worked tirelessly without reward before coming off for Dave Kitson. Tranmere's Andy Robinson coming the closest to breaking the deadlock in the second half with a free kick that glanced the top of the crossbar. Both sides know what's at stake here. There may be a goal in it, but it's 0-0 as it stands.
So what, just a couple of minutes ago, Steve Wyeth was telling us that the 15,000 at the Reebok were regretting their choice of Christmas entertainment this Saturday afternoon. Is that still the case, Steve?
Let's just say the complaint about the quality has reversed jinxed on me, because David Ngog of Bolton, the substitute, has just produced a moment completely out of keeping with the rest of the match. Ball arrived at his feet inside the penalty area, back to goal, fleet of foot, took him away from 2 defenders, and he toe-poked it right-footed past goalkeeper Hamer. It is a goal that Bolton scarcely deserve, but is Charlton's unbeaten run of 2 months away from home coming to an end. Bolton 1, Charlton 0.
Rory McAllister's 8th of the season has put Peterhead a goal upon Annan in Scottish Division 3, and for Mark Richards, that is his 4th of the season, and Chesterfield are on level terms with Burton Albion. Chesterfield 1, Burton Albion 1. Also in that league, it's Cheltenham against Port Vale. Steve May.
And it's been a cracking second half here, Mark. It's Cheltenham 1, Port Vale 1 at the moment. Tom Pope's header saved by Brown in the Cheltenham goal came back to Louis Dodds for his 5th of the season. That was the equaliser after Cheltenham had gone ahead through Darren Carter's 5th goal of the season. Close range. Came after a series of near misses at the Port Vale end, including a header off the line and a super save from Chris Neal. 1-1 here at Whaddon Road.
Christian Benteke will get all the headlines for Aston Villa after their performance at Anfield this afternoon. But Richard Askham, that Villa defence deserves a lot of credit as well.
Yes, absolutely, Mark. Garth was talking about that block from Nathan Baker in the first half that denied John Joe Shelby. One of a number of really committed defensive performances today for Aston Villa, who are still very well organised, as you can imagine, with this 3-goal lead as well, growing in confidence. Liverpool have had the odd chance, but without really putting Villa under too much pressure. They look solid, and they look as though they're going to hang on to the clean sheet and almost certainly the 3 points.
Walsall haven't won in 12 in League One, but Will Griggs' 5th of the season looks like they're going to get the 3 points this afternoon. Walsall 2, Yeovil 0. You were eulogising Garth about Villa's defence.
For me, this is probably the performance, if not the result of the day. I've been so impressed with the team and the work ethic. There've been battles all over the field at Anfield, and Villa have won them all. Yes, they've had the chances, Liverpool, but I've never seen a team for a long time be determined to keep a clean sheet right to the very end. when you watch it on Match of the Day tonight, you can't fail to appreciate just how well they work. And I'm really keen to hear what Paul Lambert has to say, because he said on a few occasions he's been really proud of his team. They've not had the results and the lot they deserve. They've had both today.
Because for the people that didn't see us when we were on the BBC HD channel, only joined us on BBC One, Liverpool went off like a train. Liverpool could have had 2 or 3 inside the first 10 minutes.
Should have been 2 or 3 goals ahead, in fairness, in that first 20 minutes. But the goals that Villa have scored have been exceptional. And Garth's right, the defending has been superb. Liverpool have huffed and puffed. They've put balls into the box. But in the second half, they've hardly created anything, really, because Villa have been there to snuff out the danger.
Clark, Baker, Bannon, Benteke,
Loughton, Lehigh.
Honestly, you can go through the team. It's been fantastic.
8 for the season for Chris Brann, and Doncaster have pulled one back. Doncaster 1, Coventry 3, and Sterling will be celebrating an unlikely victory this evening by the looks of it. They're bottom of Scottish Division 3, but they are 5-3 up on Berwick. Jordan White from the penalty spot with 10 minutes to go. From the bottom of Division 3 to Japan, because Chelsea take on Corinthians tomorrow morning in the final of the Club World Cup, 3 weeks after Rafa Benitez took over as interim manager. He won the tournament with Inter Milan, and with Fernando Torres now scoring and a couple of wins under his belt, might the fans be warming to the Spaniard?
I think every time, every day, every week, maybe the number of fans will change. So it's easy to say fans now, but obviously after the improvement of the team, the way that we play, the style that we have, I think that a lot of fans will say, listen, maybe we were too hard, and then we have to give him the chance to bring the confidence back to the team and even the fans. I am sure that the fans, what they want is to win, and my idea is very clear. I want to win every game. The fans, they want to win every game, so it's easier for us to win together. Every trophy is important. In this case, it's my 3rd final. I think it's a good record, so always you try, if you're in the final, you have to win the final. So it will be important because Corinthians is a tough team to play against, so I think that it's important to show the level of your team and the level of your players. It's a very well-organized team. They have some good players. Brazilians, they are strong. So tactically, it's not easy to approach the game because they are strong and they are well-organized. Little details can make a difference. So you have to trust your players. You have to have confidence in your level, but the team also is a good team.
You can watch Chelsea's match in the Club World Cup final against Corinthians tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. on BBC Two and on the BBC HD channel. Manish, Pat Nevin and Robbie Savage will guide you through the action. A couple of goals whilst listening to Rafa Benitez. Kevin Lisby with his 9th of the season, pulled one back for Leyton Orient. Jamie Murphy's 7th of the season means Motherwell are back on level terms with Hibs. Hibs 2, Motherwell 2. And remember, Celtic are winning in the SPL. And in the Championship, another goal at the Reebok. Have the home side increased their lead, Steve Wire?
Indeed, they have. 2 goals in 5 minutes for Bolton, 2 goals in 5 minutes for substitute David Ngog. Another quality finish as well this time. 1-2 edge of the penalty area with Kevin Davis, and he beat goalkeeper Hamer. Although Hamer did get a hand to it, he couldn't keep it out, and Bolton are going to end a really poor run for them. It will be just their 2nd win in 8 matches. For Charlton, unbeaten in 7, that run will surely now end at the Reebok Stadium. 10 minutes remaining, Bolton 2, Charlton 0.
Scunthorpe responded very quickly, didn't they, to Leyton Orient's penalty. Damien Mazika has increased their 2-goal lead, and Rotherham are a goal up on AFC Wimbledon. Excuse me, through Kieran Agard, 11 minutes to go. And Southend have pulled one back against Bradford as well. Ryan Cresswell, 7th of the season. He's 5th in the league. Means it's Southend 1, Bradford 2. Chelsea, right? They might come back from Japan as the Club World Cup champions, which is a trophy, and that's great, but they could also come back 13 points behind Manchester United.
Yeah, and that is a lot to claw back. I wouldn't rule them out just yet, Chelsea, of the title race. I think there's been signs of improvement under Benitez defensively. Obviously, Torres is scoring goals since he's arrived. It is a tall order, but we saw last year that big leads can be overturned. You know, Man City were 8 points behind, I think, with 6 games to go, and they still won the league.
And also, Garth, he's had a decent spell with the players out in Japan. They're away from the circus of the British media, and he can work with them and talk to them.
I think that's crucial. It's that bonding exercise that I think he hasn't had and perhaps wouldn't have had here. I think Matty's right. I think it's not out of the question, but they're going to have to mount a run together that's going to be they haven't done for a long time. The sort of run that you suddenly associate with Manchester United.
6 for the season for Ruben Reid, and Yeovil have got one back against Walsall. And back in the Championship, there's been a goal at Bloomfield Road. Have Blackpool won this, Seth Bennett?
Looks like they're on their way to their first victory here since the middle of September. They're 2-0 up. Kirk Broadfoot, unmarked from a corner kick, thunder his header into the back of the net, and that wait will continue. The poor run under the guidance of their new manager really is causing problems for Blackburn Rovers. You're not fit to wear the shirt is the chant. Blackpool 2, Blackburn 0.
What is going on at Stirling? They've taken 7 points from 39 available so far this season. They're bottom of Scottish Division 3. They've hit 6 this afternoon, and they're going to win as well. Stirling 6, Berwick 3. Back to the Premier League, where I would imagine, Jonathan Ledyard, it's a happier Loftus Road than usual.
Absolutely. It's 2-0. We've got 6 minutes to go. Harry Redknapp is just making a change, and he'll take time to do this. There's no need to rush because it's all going to plan. Fabio Da Silva comes on, which means that Neda Manua is going off. There have been no real chances either side of the last time you've been to me, and at the moment Adel Taarabt is just strutting his stuff. It's all going to plan for Steve Sidwell, walking something of a tightrope. He's been booked already, and he was just cautioned by the referee, or told off by the referee, by bringing down Taarabt as well, so he's got to watch out. But Rangers playing out time, 2-0 winners. It's going to be sweet.
All going to plan for QPR. Fair to say it's not all going to plan for Crystal Palace at St Andrews. Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, me and my big mouth. It's Birmingham 2, Crystal Palace 2. Hall's corner, and Papa Bouba Diop, who's about 8'7", bang, with a powerful header. 2-2. I told you.
Yes, you did, Ivan, you did. We will wipe all recordings of what you said earlier. And a Birmingham comeback certainly won't dampen the thoughts and the celebrations of the Aston Villa fans this afternoon. They are winning at Liverpool. Richard Askin.
Yes, absolutely. All gone very flat in the home end here, as you can imagine, Mark. The Villa's fans just to my left-hand side chanting. They must have imagined quite a different story here today, certainly in the first 20 minutes where Liverpool were attacking with real purpose. But Villa thoroughly deserve this victory. It's Glenn Johnson deflected off one of the Villa defenders. I think it was Kieran Clark, the skipper, and into the goal. But it's going to be nothing more than a consolation for Liverpool. They've been outplayed and outthought today overall. It's now, though, Liverpool 1, Aston Villa 3.
Garth.
Well, I mean, Liverpool have got the break, and it was going to take a deflection, I think, the way that Villa have performed today. And I think it is a consolation, and all credit to Liverpool for doing it. But the game's over for me. The 3 points have gone to Villa, and they deserve it.
It might even have gone off Steven Gerrard, actually. I'm not sure it was Kieran Clark. Glenn Johnson does that brilliantly, actually, from right back. He's got a decent strike with his left foot, and he comes in inside and he hits a decent ball into the box. And I think it might even be Gerrard that gets the goal.
OK, let's go to Old Trafford next, where, would you say, Damien Johnson, Manchester United have been wasteful in the last 15 minutes or so?
I think both sides have, to be honest. Chances have come and gone at both ends. Sunderland have kept plugging away. Van Persie just had a header just off target a moment ago, but it's Sunderland who keep pressing. They're plugging away. Game, despite the current scoreline, they're still trailed by 3-1. The Campbell goal has increased their resolve just a little bit as the ball's played into the area and headed just over the bar, well, quite a long way over the bar in actual fact. But yeah, credit to Sunderland. They've played their part in this game, but United heading for victory. 3-1 they lead.
That happy feeling that they had at Loftus Road might just be replaced by nerves for the last 5 minutes or so. Jonathan Ledyard.
It's that curse again. It's all going to plan. No, it's not, because Petric has just intervened. The QPR defence just backed off, and from 20 yards out, left-footed, it looped over Rob Green. 3 minutes to go. Queen's Park Rangers 2, Fulham 1.
Still all to play for there. Not all to play for at Celtic. As you can see, Celtic have doubled their lead through Gary Hooper. Ian Turner has the details.
Yeah, it's taken them a long time to do it, as late as the 83rd minute, when really they've been pressing since the 15th minute for a second goal. It's Gary Hooper. It was a corner again. Saints failed to clear it. They've been great in defence. They failed to clear this one. Hooper only 2 yards out, turned and hooked it high into the net. Celtic 2, St Mirren 0.
Meanwhile, Inverness Caledonian Thistle have come from 3 down to lead Dundee United 4-3. They hit 4 against Dundee United last time they played them as well when they beat them 4-0. And Gary Warren 4 minutes from time. And there are late goals everywhere in the SPL. Hibs are now 3-2 down. Robert McHugh for Motherwell. Kilmarnock are 2-0 up on Aberdeen. Liam Kelly with that goal as well. And if there are late goals around in the SPL, there are late goals in the Championship as well. Steve Sutton's got one at last at Middlesbrough.
Yes, we have. Patience pays off for Middlesbrough. They take the lead 1-0. Martin Emnes from the penalty spot. Great protest from Wolverhampton. It was a shot from Ledesma, hit a Wolves' hand. The referee pointed to the spot. 2 second-half substitutes there getting that, conjuring up that goal. Ledesma with the shot initially and Emnes with a penalty. Middlesbrough 1, Wolves 0.
Marvin Emnes is 5th of the season. It's his 4th in league football for Middlesbrough so far this season. Did QPR nearly go 3-1 up?
They did, yeah. I think it was Cisse's header, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
But they've actually, since the goal, they've played the game pretty much in Fulham's half, which is exactly where they'd like it.
They've got to keep it up there, haven't they, now?
It's tense now at Loftus Road, and understandably so. You've got the entire QPR team in their own half, sat back, and just praying that they can see this game out.
Notts County haven't been beaten in 8, but they're behind this afternoon. Clayton Donaldson, 2 minutes from time. Donaldinho's 14th of the season. It's his 12th in the league. And Brentford are 2-1 up at Notts County. Any sign of a winner at the Britannia Stadium? Jackie Oatley.
Well, they've come close. It's still Stoke 1, Everton 1. But clearly both sides feel that the other's there for the taking. They're both going for it. And Stoke had a chance through Cameron Jerome. But Howard made the save. And then Crouch's lob on the follow-up was headed clear off the line by Distan. Everton also been pushing for the winner. Distan headed wide from a corner. But Fellaini should have been sent off for that headbutt on Shawcross. Stoke 1, Everton 1.
It looks like Norwich are going to win their 5th consecutive home league game, and their unbeaten run in the Premier League is going to be stretched to 10. Andrew James.
That's right, Mark. They're comfortable at the moment, and really Wigan have got Ali Halhabsi to thank for the fact that the scoreline isn't more emphatic. He's made some marvellous saves throughout the game, denying Pilkington a few moments ago. And although Wigan got back into the game with that equaliser at the time from the substitute Maloney, they've rarely looked like threatening since then. Going towards stoppage time, Norwich 2, Wigan 1.
Crew have won 4 of their last 6 league games. They've left it late this afternoon, but they are ahead against Bury. Braddon Inman, 2 minutes from time. It's Crew 1, Bury 0. The shock of the day is coming in the Championship. Cardiff have won 10 on the bounce at home in the league, but not today. Ian Hunt.
Not today, Mark. That run is coming to an end with just over 3 minutes to go in this game. And, Peterborough might just even be 3-4, maybe even 5-0 in front here. They've had so many chances in the second half with Cardiff pushing men forward. But David Marshall, the Cardiff keeper, has made several good saves to deny Boyd and Gale on 2 occasions. They've really played well and deserved this victory. I don't think it would be too bold of me to make the prediction at this stage that Cardiff's long, successful home record is coming to an end, Mark, trailing by 2-0.
But they will stay top of the Championship as it stands because Crystal Palace have let it slip at St Andrews, Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, they're really pushing to snatch the winner in the dying minutes here at Birmingham. 2 chances have gone so close, but no cigar. They're pressing, but they haven't managed it yet. It's 89th. Oh, there's another one. Just whistles past the post. Oh, it's tight, but it's still 2-2.
Ooh! What were you getting angry about?
Well, it's the game at the Britannia Stadium. It's been X-rated. I mean, there's been stuff flying all over the place, elbows, headbutts. I've just caught Fellaini as a set piece, a corner, and Fellaini, without doubt, gives Shawcross a forearm smash. And as the ball comes in and players and it's headed out or headed away, the camera and everybody else follows the ball. But that's when Fellaini's doing his damage, and he catches Shawcross again. Again, to be fair to Shawcross, he doesn't play and he gets on with it.
Are QPR still keeping the ball up the right end of the field as far as they're concerned, Jonathan Ledyard?
They are, absolutely. Cisse's just gone through and blasted high and wide when James Mackey possibly could have been in with a better chance. But never mind, Harry Redknapp's tried to buy a bit more time as well. On comes Anton Ferdinand for Cisse. The minutes keep ticking away. By my reckoning, we've just got 45 seconds. At the moment, Fulham are in the Rangers half and the ball is being pumped up. Mladic is there. Petric just clearing. Handball, it's all going. And now there's Mackey on his own. Could be a winner. It's 2-1 at the moment with seconds to go.
Adam Barton's 3rd of the season means Coventry are 4-1 up on second place League One Doncaster. Doncaster 1, Coventry 4. Full-time whistle going around the country. Southend have just got a late equaliser against Bradford. Gavin Tomlin with that goal. That's his 10th of the season, his 7th in the league. Southend 2, Bradford 2. And with the final whistles going, it's all over at Old Trafford. Damien Johnson, Manchester United return their lead to 6 points at the top of the Premier League.
Yes, that's right, Mark. Goals from Van Persie, Cleverley and Rooney. Ultimate chances at both ends, it has to be said. Vidic returned off the bench for United. That's a real fillip for them. And as you say, they restore their 6-point lead at the top of the Premier League.
Rudy Gestadi's got one back for Cardiff.
And a stroke right-footed finish. Fulham disappointing. Berbatov lacked any support. Green had just one shot to save. Petridge's shot just sailed over him. It's Newcastle away, West Brom home, Liverpool home, Chelsea away. It's all still to do, but at last they are winners, 2-1.
9th of the season for Scott McDonald, and Middlesbrough have got a late goal against Wolves, so it's Middlesbrough 2, Wolves 0. It's all over at the Riverside as well, so 3 points for Tony Mowbray's side. And we will go to Anfield next. Big 3 points for Paul Lambert and Aston Villa. Richard Askham.
Was it ever, Mark? An extraordinary afternoon at Anfield. Villa could have been 3 down before they took the lead on the half-hour. Christian Benteke in off a post from 25 yards. It was a goal that changed everything, really. Paul Lambert's side started to break with real threat and purpose. Their second set-up by Benteke's back heel started at the back and was finished clinically by Andreas Weimann. Liverpool tried to respond after the break, but found themselves quickly 3 down. Benteke powering through the middle to thump his 8th of the season past Pepe Reina. Villa's young team showed they're really maturing well. Liverpool, that the Brendan Rodgers plan needs more than the odd tweak. A late Steven Gerrard goal deflecting in a Glenn Johnson shot. Nothing more than a consolation.
Thank you very much. That result takes Villa to 14th this evening. They go above Newcastle. Next, the Britannia Stadium, where it was a tough game between Stoke and Everton. Jackie Oatley.
And a bad-tempered one as one. Stoke 1, Everton 1. Not the most surprising scoreline, but both sides did try to win it. Gibson had a late shot deflected wide late on for Everton, and Pienaar dragged a shot wide, but Jerome and Crouch could have won it for Stoke. And the goals, Ryan Shawcroft with a first half own goal, glancing Pienaar's cross into his own net. But Stoke started the second half strongly. Kenwyne Jones powering home a header, his first league goal in 28 games. And Fellaini, though, should have been sent off for a headbutt on Shawcross, and he may yet miss the Christmas games once the FA have seen it. Stoke 1, Everton 1.
Next, we're going to go to the home of the 7th place side in the Barclays Premier League tonight. It's Norwich. Another 3 points for Chris Hughton's men against Wigan. Andrew James.
Yes, indeed, it was full value from Norwich City as well. And Chris Hughton, the former Tottenham man, of course, will no doubt be quite pleased to see his side currently above Arsenal in that Premier League table. Norwich got off to a great start. Anthony Pilkington taking advantage of some poor Wigan defending to literally thump the ball into the top corner, beating Al Habsi at his near post. Norwich had a couple of more chances to score in that first half, but then Wigan in the second half, having made half-time substitutions, one of those changes, Sean Maloney, powered in the equaliser at 1-1, and Wigan looked like they might be getting their season back on course. But a Wes Hoolahan header, his 3rd goal against Wigan in 5 goals for Norwich City, really turned the game back Norwich's way. And in the end, it was only some great goalkeeping by Al Habsi that kept the scoreline as it was in the end. The final score, Norwich City 2, Wigan 1.
Let's go into the SPL, where the leaders won this afternoon. Ian Turner's been watching Celtic against St Mirren.
It was victory by only 2-0, but this was a match Celtic dominated, enjoying so much possession. At times it was like an attackers against defenders training session. Saints did defend extremely well, in fairness, but failed to deal with 2 of umpteen corners, and Wanyama and Hooper were the beneficiaries. Celtic have now scored 22 goals against Saints without reply, and they stay top. Celtic 2, St Mirren 0.
Still waiting for the final whistle at the Cardiff City Stadium, which means the home side still have hope. Ian Hunt.
Doesn't pay to make predictions too soon, does it? Because, Cardiff have pulled a goal back through Rudy Gestad just on the stroke of full time, and they are pressing for that second goal. A foul on Craig Bellamy, not given there by the referee as a free kick. But yes, 6 minutes of added time, so still hope with, 90 seconds left of that to play. But it's Cardiff City 1, Peterborough 2.
Doesn't pay to make predictions, says Ian. I can't quite link that to going to Ivan Gaskell at St Andrews. Ivan.
never again. Good game, right result. Crystal Palace had victory in their grasp and let it go. Glenn Murray, who's been around the block before really making his mark, in the right place at the right time twice. 2 poachers' goals, 20 for the season now, put Palace firmly in control. You really couldn't see them letting it slip. Well, I couldn't. So obviously back came Birmingham. Zigic rose from the bench to plant a fine header. Then Diop powered home an even better equaliser. Palace pressed, Birmingham held on. Points shared. Neither manager should complain, but don't hold your breath. 2-2.
Thank you very much, Ivan. If you want your say on the day's action, then Jason Roberts joins me for 6:06 on BBC Radio 5 Live from 6 minutes past 6. And a reminder that tomorrow night, it's this. What a night we are going to have. Sports Personality of the Year 2012 across TV, radio and online tomorrow night. Let's nip back to Cardiff. Final whistle gone yet, Ian?
It's all over, Mark, and what a huge shock for Cardiff City as their record run of 10 successive home games ends against the bottom club of all people. What a place for Peterborough to pick up their first win in 9 games, and well, deservedly so. They were more clinical than the host, it has to be said here. 1-0 up on 22 minutes through Michael Bostwick's free kick. Dwight Gale made it 2 just after the break with a lovely counter-attacking move. Rudy Gestede did pull one back for Cardiff right at the death, but it was too little, too late for the hosts, whose best chances fell to Hyder Helgeson, who wasn't clinical enough in front of goal. Peterborough could have had more, but for a series of fine saves from David Marshall. Cardiff not good enough until their late rally, a shadow of the side who've been peerless at home this season, but hope for Peterborough, who've won this game by 2-1.
Thank you, Ian. So all the reaction from today's matches, including being live at Old Trafford and Anfield, on the way on Final Score after a full check on the day's results with Mike West.
And starting with the Barclays Premier League, Liverpool 1, Aston Villa 3, Manchester United 3, Sunderland 1, Newcastle United 1, Manchester City 3, Norwich City 2, Wigan Athletic 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2, Fulham 1, and Stoke City 1, Everton 1. On to the Empire Championship, the match between Barnsley and Sheffield Wednesday, an evening kick-off at 5:20. Birmingham City 2, Crystal Palace 2. Blackpool 2, Blackburn Rovers 0. Bolton Wanderers 2, Charlton Athletic 0. Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Bristol City 0, Derby County 2. Burnley 1, Watford 1. Cardiff City 1, Peterborough United 2. Hull City 2, Huddersfield Town 0. Leeds United 2, Ipswich Town 0. Middlesbrough 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. And Millwall 1, Leicester City 0. In the Empire League 1, AFC Bournemouth 1, Colchester United 0. Crewe Alexandra 1, Bury 0. Doncaster Rovers 1, Coventry City 4. Leyton Orient 1, Scunthorpe United 3. Milton Keynes Dons 1, Hartlepool United 0. Notts County 1, Brentford 2. Oldham Athletic 0, Swindon Town 2. Portsmouth 0, Preston North End 0. Sheffield United 0, Tranmere Rovers 0. Shrewsbury Town 2, Carlisle United 1. Stevenage 1, Crawley Town 2. And Walsall 2, Yeovil Town 2. In the Empire League 2, Accrington Stanley 0, Wycombe Wanderers 2. AFC Wimbledon 0, Rotherham United 1. Aldershot Town 4, Rochdale 2. Cheltenham Town 1, Port Vale 1. Chesterfield 1, Burton Albion 1. Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Barnet 0. Exeter City 1, Plymouth Argyle 1. Gillingham 2, Fleetwood Town 2. Morecambe 1, Oxford United 1. Southend United 2, Bradford City 2. Torquay United 1, Northampton Town 1. And York City 4, Bristol Rovers 1. Just one match in the Blue Square Bet Premier today, which finished Macclesfield Town 0, Nuneaton Town 0. Into Scotland and the Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League. Aberdeen 0, Kilmarnock 2. Celtic 2, St Mirren 0. Dundee United 4, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 4. Hibernian 2, Motherwell 3. Ross County 1, Dundee 1. And St Johnstone 2, Hearts 2. In the Iron Brew Scottish Division 1, the match between Dumbarton and Livingston, match postponed. Dunfermline 1, Hamilton Academical 1. Falkirk 2, Cowdenbeath 0. Greenock Morton 2, Airdrie United 0. And Partick Thistle 3, Wraith Rovers 2. The Scottish Division 2, Ayr United 2, East Fife 3. Forfar Athletic 1, Arbroath 1. Queen of the South 1, Brechin City 0. Stenhousemuir 1, Albion Rovers 0. And Stranraer 3, Alloa Athletic 2. The Scottish Division 3, Clyde 2, East Stirlingshire 1. Montrose 2, Rangers 4. Peterhead 2, Annan Athletic 0 is a latest score. Queen's Park 1, Elgin City 1. And Stirling Albion 6, Berwick Rangers 3. The Corbett Sports Welsh Premier, Aberystwyth Town against Airbus UK Broughton, match postponed. Bala Town 1, Llanelli 2. Bangor City 2, Carmarthen Town 2. Newtown 1, Affinlido 2. And Port Talbot Town 0, the New Saints 1 is a latest score. Lastly, the Danske Bank Irish Premiership, Ballina-Mallard 1, Cliftonville 3. Coleraine 2, Donegal Celtic 1. Crusaders 3, Lisbon Distillery 1. Glenavon 4, Ballymena United 1. Linfield 2, Dungannon Swifts 1. And finally Portadown 2, Glentoran 4.
One late kick-off, Peterhead 2, Annan Athletic 0, and that's still being played. Let's take a look at the tables for you. As far as the Premier League is concerned, the top 2 won today, so Manchester United stay 6 points clear of Manchester City. Chelsea 13 points back with a game in hand. Reading slipped to the bottom of the Premier League thanks to that first win of the season for QPR. Villa go from 17th to 14th after that win at Anfield. Cardiff suffered a shock home defeat to Peterborough, but they hang on to the top spot after Crystal Palace were pegged back at Birmingham. Middlesbrough and Hull both won to keep up the chase for an automatic promotion spot. Millwall have gone into the playoffs at the expense of Watford. That surprise win for Peterborough lifts them off the bottom of the table, but it could be a temporary respite with Sheffield Wednesday in action shortly against Barnsley. Bristol City lost at home today. Tranmere stay top of the table after drawing with Sheffield United. They lead only on goal difference with Brentford moving into second. Doncaster dropped to fourth after they were beaten at home by Coventry. Hartlepool lost for the 15th time this season. They're now a massive 10 points adrift at the bottom of the table. Scunthorpe won today to move above Bury. Shrewsbury also want to go out of the relegation places. Portsmouth now in the bottom 4. Leaders Gillingham drew today in League 2. Port Vale and Cheltenham were locked in a stalemate with each other, so they failed to close the gap. And Barnet still prop up the pile. They lost today, as did Bristol Rovers, but Aldershot won to go above AFC Wimbledon. As far as the Blue Square Bet Premier is concerned, just one game today. It didn't affect the top, but Nuneaton are off the bottom, thanks to their goalless draw at Macclesfield. And as far as the SPL is concerned, Celtic made it 10 league wins for the season and extend their lead at the top to 4 points with a game in hand. Inverness fought back from 3-0 down to draw 4-4 with Dundee United, but they concede second place to Motherwell, who beat Hibs. Dundee remain at the foot of the table. Let's go back to the Premier League, where, Matt Holland, QPR have their first win in 17 league games.
Yeah, and it's that man there, Adel Taarabt, who's the key, really. He scored both goals. The first one a little bit fortunate, got a deflection. Second one was all about him from the halfway line, running through about 4 or 5 challenges before the outside of the boot. You have to feel that if QPR are to survive, they're going to have to get the very best out of him, Adel Taarabt. You know, they've got to win matches, and he is a match winner. He can be difficult, he can be frustrating. You know, as a player, to play alongside him, you don't know when you're going to get the ball back, but he is a match winner.
And they dominated that first half in particular.
Yeah, and weren't clinical. And they paid the price for that. They became a little bit edgy in the second half, a bit tense, until they got the break, they got the deflection. But I think Matty's absolutely right. They've got a run of games now, and I said at the top of this programme that if they can put a run together of 3 games, get 9 points over the Christmas period, which is, it's difficult, but it's doable, I think they're really looking in very good shape for the very first time. And they've got some interesting fixtures. They've got Newcastle away, who, let's be fair, are having a difficult time at the moment. West Brom at home, Liverpool at home. It's doable. Liverpool aren't playing well either. So things are looking up at Loftus Road.
OK, well, let's talk about Liverpool, who, in a very similar way to QPR, actually dominated the first 20 minutes or so against Aston Villa. But in the end, Villa ran out 3-1 winners. Let's hear from the victorious manager. Paul Lambert is with Richard Askham.
Paul, a terrific performance and a terrific result.
Yeah, I thought it was thoroughly deserved the way we played, and the goals were outstanding. I mean, especially the second goal was a world-class move, and the finish was excellent.
What about the performance of Christian Benteke? Lots of people have had good things to say about him all season, but that was a performance that just showed how good he is.
I've seen it all along, and you run out of things to say about the big guy. He's been absolutely unbelievable. For 21 years of age, I always say it, he can be anything he wants, and he's a top lad as well, which is really, really important. And his partnership, whether it be with Gary, Darren or Andy, he seems everybody loves playing beside him. So, no, he's been absolutely sensational for us.
Christian Benteke was sensational for Aston Villa. Let's talk to Steve Bauer, commentating on this game for Match of the Day later on. But that whole Villa team deserve credit, particularly their defence, who held so firm in that second half.
Absolutely, Mark. This was a real team effort. And remember, Paul Lambert keeps talking about the age of his team, and he's absolutely right. He played a back 3 again today. Hurd and Baker and Clark at the centre of it, 23, 23 and 21. And the performances were so mature from those young men. Because as you rightly said, in the first 20 minutes of this game, Liverpool started well. They started on the front foot, but they got bodies in the well. They defended well. And then as soon as they got the goal through Benteke, the whole dynamic of the game changed. And as you heard Paul Lambert allude to there, watch Match of the Day tonight for the second Villa goal. Benteke provides it with a magnificent back heel into Weimann, who finishes very coolly indeed. And then Liverpool knew that they had to score the next goal. And we had a dramatic start to the second half as well. I watched them lose at Tottenham. They're in defeat in the last 11 games recently, and Brendan Rodgers, speaking to me afterwards, couldn't believe they didn't get a penalty in that game. They haven't had a Premier League penalty all season, and they should have had one inside the first few minutes of the second half when Daniel Agger was pulled to the ground. Now, if that had been given and scored, it would have been 2-1. But at the other end, 5 or 6 minutes later, Christian Benteke did it again. Brilliant solo effort to put it in the back of the net. And from that moment on, Villa were there to their second away win of the season. It was a late consolation from Steven Gerrard. So that is the point that Liverpool and Brendan Rodgers will point to. But there's no denying Villa their day. A magnificent away victory for them. And this young team just get better and better. And Benteke caused problems all day.
We touched on it at the start of the show, didn't we? Liverpool just 4 points at the start of the day off a Champions League place. I just wonder how the fans at Anfield reacted to that defeat, because they didn't play badly.
No, they didn't. That's the curious thing. I tell you, they played well up until the final third at times, Mark. And as you say, give Vidic credit for defending, because at times in that first 20 minutes they put their bodies on the line, they rode their luck, and they kept the clean sheet intact. But as the game went on, there was a familiar story for Liverpool. They lacked that cutting edge right in the final third, that whether it be the last pass, the last ball into the penalty area. They brought Joe Cole on at half-time to try and increase that. And in fact, he was at fault for the third goal, losing possession. And that was the one thing really lacking from Liverpool's game today, that cutting edge. But Anfield reacted in silence. They were stunned. They were shell-shocked, particularly when Villa went 2-0 up at the Kop end with that Weimann goal, because they didn't see it coming. As we mentioned beforehand, 1 defeat in 11. Only the 2 Manchester clubs had got more points in that run than Liverpool. They were looking to push on with this set of fixtures they had. But Villa, we should point out now, are unbeaten in 5 themselves, and that's a huge win at the bottom of the table for them today.
Yeah, unbeaten in 5. Thank you very much, Steve. Up to 14th, above Newcastle, above Sunderland, and they have one of the signings of the season, Christian Benteke.
I don't want, did he cost 7 million? And I have to say, I held my hand up, didn't know an awful lot about him. I do now. I mean, I'm watching this kid, his movement is Suarez-like. I mean, he does cover, left to right. His play with his back to goal is exceptional, when a lot of centre-forwards aren't very good with the back to goal. He's got good touch. He likes when he goes forward. He can score goals. He's a team player. This is a top class. They've got a problem keeping him. What's he worth now? 12 million? And it's growing. He's 21. What an asset they've got.
OK, let's get more reaction to the games that are taking place this afternoon. We'll go to Old Trafford next. Manchester United 3, Sunderland 1, restores their lead over City to 6 points. Sir Alex Ferguson is with Damian Johnson.
Sir Alex, 3-1, what are your thoughts?
Well, for an hour, we were fantastic. Some of the football was really good. We could have scored a lot of goals. But I don't know whether we've relaxed when we went to 3-0 or Sunderland got a grip of themselves and started to play well. And they could have 2 or 3 goals towards the end of the game. It would have been embarrassing. But, it became a real feisty game in the last 20 minutes of the match. I'm just glad to get the result.
Tom Cleverley's goal, what does that tell you about the kind of progress he's making?
Well, he's been progressing for a while now as an English international team. With the combinations I've got in midfield, sometimes he doesn't play, but he's played the last 2 games and done fantastically well. The goal was absolutely superb. Marvellous one-touch finish, really good.
In the period you dominated, Rooney might have had a hat-trick.
Exactly, we missed a few chances, hit the bar and maybe a bit chaos in front of goal, but some of the play was very, very good.
How much of a lift is it for you and the team that Vidic is back?
We're delighted he's back. He's a warrior, he's a great defender. And having them all back, that's Rafa missed a game today with all his tightness of the hamstring, but he'll be okay next week. So it gives us a full quotient of mid-defenders, and it'll be fantastic for us.
Alex Ferguson talking to Damian Johnson. Let's talk to Jonathan Pearce, who doing this game for Match of the Day. He appears there satisfied yet dissatisfied, Jonathan, does Alex Ferguson.
Well, I can understand why, because they did play very well for an hour. Some of the football in the first half was fluent and fast, precise, took the goals well. You have to say that Sunderland's Cuellar didn't defend well for the first goal. Young was allowed to get to the byline too easily, pulled it back, heavy touch by O'Shea, lashed in by Robin van Persie. The second goal was a beauty from Cleverley, kept the ball moving quickly out wide, came back in, opened up his body and bent in a lovely shot from about 20 yards. Rooney hit the bar in the second half, and then again a Manchester United player got to the byline too easily. This time it was Van Persie. He crossed into the middle and Rooney stabbed in the third goal. But then this is why Sir Alex Ferguson isn't that over the moon with a victory, because they allowed Sunderland to get back into the game. Sunderland lost Fletcher with an injury at half-time. Big Connor Wickham came on, did well actually. So did Larson in the second half. I think they deserved their goal. It was a nice moment for Fraser Campbell. Free header at the far post. United had switched off. So optimism in Sunderland's second half performance, and they've got such a wretched record here that I don't think Martin O'Neill will bleat too much about this defeat, but Manchester United did in the end what they had to do. I think it's difficult for players, and the boys in the studio will tell you, when you're 3-0 up at home with half an hour left, to keep that momentum up, that drive going when you know the game is 1-1 comfortably. I think that's why Sunderland came back into it.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Both of them trying to remember when they were 3-0 up at home. I could see the cogs go.
Been at Old Trafford and 3-0 down.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Right then, you can catch all the action from all the Premier League games with Dan Walker on Match of the Day tonight, 10:25 p.m. on BBC One and BBC One HD. Alan Shearer and Mark Lawrenson will be alongside him. And then following that, you've got all the goals from the Football League. Manish and the team here at 11:45. And tomorrow night, Colin will have Robbie Savage and John Hartson with him for Match of the Day 2. 2 games will be featuring Spurs against Swansea and West Brom against West Ham. The early game was at St James's Park. It finished Newcastle 1, Manchester City 3. Let's get all the reaction from there, starting with Roberto Mancini.
You scored 3, you might have scored more, as you said, but there were some outstanding performances from your front players, and behind them Yaya Toure, who was just brilliant today.
Yeah, but I think that when you win 3-1 and you can score other 4-5 goals against Newcastle away, you won't say that because he played very, very well, and I think that we play really well with all players.
You didn't bring Mario Balotelli, he's training today. Yeah. Why did you decide not to include him here?
Because he needs to train, and he leave him at home for the training session this morning and tomorrow, only for this.
I assume he wasn't very happy with that.
I don't think. But when he starts to play like his quality, he'll play again.
For us, it's about getting resilience against the top teams and hanging into the game. And 2-0 down ain't ideal when you're playing a team as good as that. But we still, has that belief about us. We'll be okay. It's been a good day in many parts for us today. The fans were good, performances were good. We just come up against a side, unfortunately today, we're better than us.
Newcastle, I think I've been here 10 years, and every time I came here was a difficult game. We knew it was going to be difficult today. I think we suffered a little bit, if we have to be honest, but overall we controlled the game, and it's always a great result to go home with the 3 points against Newcastle away from home. So, yeah, credit to the team, to the fan, of course, but good performance.
Gail Clichy says it was a great result. He says it was a good performance. It was probably a great performance at times.
The first goal was a great goal, and it was carved out by a team worthy of winning a championship. Real, sensible, intelligent, sophisticated football, carved out by great players, and they went on to win in the end, I thought, comfortably.
I thought the first half especially was some of the best football they've played all season, and Roberto Mancini...
Is there any coincidence that they had Tevez and Aguero together?
I think that's their best partnership up front. I think everyone can see that. But I think Yaya Toure was the catalyst today. He's not been at his best this season. Yeah. Today he was. He had the captain's armband today in the absence of Vincent Kompany, and the pass for the first goal was one of the best you'll see all season, where he sort of gave it the eyes to give it out wide and cut it inside to Nasri. Brilliant.
Well worth seeing that. Match of the day, 10:25 this evening on BBC One HD. More reaction from the 3 o'clock games. Let's go to the Britannia Stadium, where it finished Stoke 1, Everton 1. Plenty of other things going on there as well. David Moyes is with Jackie Oatley.
David, your assessment of that game?
Well, we didn't play well today. I don't think I've had to say that too many times this season, but we didn't play well, but we dug in and we ended up getting a really hard-fought point.
Why do you feel it didn't go your way today?
Because Stoke are a good team, and they've got bits which can make it an awkward day for you. I think MD, who comes here, is going to find it an awkward day. But we had a wonderful chance to make it 2-0. Leon Osman just before half-time to make it 2-0, and we missed a great chance. But in the second half, Stoke get better. We should have saved the goal. And we were a bit fortunate in a couple of incidents that Stoke didn't get a winner.
The referee came under a lot of pressure today. There are a few incidents that will be looked at again, no doubt. In the first half, did you feel you should have had a penalty when Pienaar's shot was blocked by Glenn Whelan's arm?
Well, it hit somebody's hand, There's a lot of these going on, and some you get, some you don't. So we didn't get it today.
In the second half, Fellaini appeared to headbutt Ryan Shawcross. What's your view on that?
Yeah, you're right. And he deserves to get the punishment, whatever is handed out to him. I've seen it, and it's a terrible thing to do. And I would expect him to be punished for it.
Wow. David Moyes with Jackie Oatley. Let's go to Guy Mowbray, who was listening to that, was watching the game, commentating on this one for Match of the Day. A round of applause for David Moyes. Doesn't hide it, does he? He came out and said it as he saw it.
Absolutely no hiding place, Mark. He's honest, he's realistic, and he's 100% correct, because it was sneaky, it was nasty, completely uncalled for. There's all sorts of wrestling going on at every corner, as there always is. Shawcross was detailed with marking Fellaini, and 3 times, the headbutt was only the first. 3 times, Fellaini basically has just gone for him. The first one was blatant. He had a look for him, and he just thrust his head into the side of his face. The next one, he's being held. He jabs his elbow back into him. And then the third one, just towards the end of the game, They're holding each other again. It's tit for tat, and he just swings an arm at him. And Fellaini, if you didn't know better, you'd think he's almost trying to get Christmas off because it was so blatant. And the referee just can't have seen them. That's the only excuse I can give to Mark Halsey, because so much must have been going on that he didn't see those specifically. He is lucky not to have been sent off today, or Everton are lucky that he wasn't sent off today. He will be banned. There's no doubt about it.
Guy, thank you very much. Guy Mowbray at the Britannia Stadium. But what David Moyes' answer did in that interview with Jackie Oatley was it sort of kills the story, knocks it on its head, basically. There you go, there's the ban.
It's unforgivable.
Yeah.
It's absolutely unforgivable. And he's seen it with his own eyes, just like we did. We sat here in the studio and said, that's the sending off. Mark Halsey didn't see it. David Moyes has seen the replay, and just like us, felt the same. It was a red card. And in hindsight, there will be retrospective punishment. I'm sure he'll be banned.
It's not about Fellaini anymore. It's about David Moyes. All credit to a manager. There's been a lot of talk this week about showing leadership in football. Well, goodness gracious, David Moyes did it today. He held his hand up. He didn't say, I didn't see it. What are you talking about? Let me go back. Give me time. He said, I saw it. My play was wrong. He's going to accept the punishment and we move on.
Yeah.
He won't do it again. And that's exactly what we want.
A reminder that tomorrow morning you can catch Chelsea in action. Chelsea against Corinthians is tomorrow morning on BBC Two at 10 a.m. You can also see it on the HD channel. Manish Patnavan and Robbie Savage will guide you through it. And as well as Sports Personality of the Year taking place tomorrow night, we've got a special programme for you on Monday. The 50 greatest moments from this year's Olympics, presented by Gabby and Greg James. So that's BBC 3, 8:30 on Monday. If you're a Norwich fan, you're probably screaming at the telly going, you haven't mentioned us, you haven't spoken about us, and we're 7th this evening, and we're an unbeaten run of 10 league games, and we won 5 on the spin at home.
I'd love to talk about them.
So, former Ipswich midfielder, former Ipswich captain Matt Holland, talk about Norwich.
10 games unbeaten, won 6 of them. I think that's 5 on the spin they've won at Carrow Road, and they've beaten some big teams along the way as well. Man United, Arsenal, and another big win today. Houlihan, impressive. Very impressive, as was Anthony Pilkington.
Yeah. I hope that football, for once, will start to take the man we've just seen in that picture seriously as a football manager.
Now, do you not think that's the case? Do you not think...
No, I think even in the report, I think there was a suggestion that he's consistently trying to prove himself.
Right.
And I think he's taken Norwich City on from what Paul Lambert's done. I think a lot of people thought that it was going to be a very difficult season for them. Of course it is. Very little money. No great purchases, but he's done a brilliant job and is doing a brilliant job. And I think the game deserves to take him seriously.
Norwich are 7th this evening in the Premier League. Let's get more reaction. Harry Redknapp's going to talk to us now after QPR's 2-1 win over Fulham, their first win in the league this season. He's been speaking with Simon Brotherton.
Well, congratulations on a first win as QPR manager, Harry. The great escape's on then.
Well, I don't know about that. It's going to be tough, but I can't ask any more than what they gave today. I thought we were very worthy winners. It would have been a great injustice if we hadn't won against a team that I think is a very good team. The Fulham team is, I think Martin's done a great job with them, and they're dangerous opposition, well organised, and they can play. But I felt we were much the better team today, and it was, say, 2-0 up. They'd really not troubled us. And then they get the goal with a deflection, and suddenly last 4 minutes was like an hour. Believe you me, standing there watching that it was difficult. But we defended for our lives, and we got what we deserved.
And they did get what they deserved.
Without any shadow of doubt. I was a bit concerned to begin with because we were missing chances. But in the second half, they got a break. They accepted it, and most important, when they're struggling, they closed the game out, and that's difficult. They're on the. If they're going to be a revival, it starts today.
6 points in 4 games now under Harry Redknapp. I mean, that's the sort of form they're going to have to show between now and the end of the season.
Although, I tell you what, it's still tight at the bottom, isn't it, really? So. 8 points separating Villa in 14th and QPR in 19th. Well, that's it from us on BBC One for this afternoon. Thank you very much to Garth and Matt for the moment. There's continued reaction on the Red Button and on the BBC Sport website till 6 p.m. So join us if you can. If not, see you next week.